Hey, what's good, people, man? Platinum Bearded Dread. Tales from the bench, them. Man, nippy, man. Question, man. Who's raising your children? Who's raising your children? Now, you might say, well, obviously, I'm raising my child because I'm the parent, I'm the mother, I'm the father. But check it. Take a deeper look, right, into the question, who's raising your parents? I mean, from the moment our children are born, with only seconds on the breast of the mother, the baby is snatched away, and I believe given vitamin K, something of that sort. But already there's been a disconnect, and then they return to the mother. Barely a few years later, when they're still in that, whilst they're still even in nappy, some of them, they're carted off to nursery, where they're taught how to quote unquote behave and follow orders and rules. And that, in my humble opinion, is where the indoctrination starts, because it's like they've got another parent now, whilst in there in the care of the nursery. The same training they're going to get at school years later down the line, they're going to start seeing that nursery, the foundation. To give you one example, when our children, twins, when we decided to put them in nursery, which was very briefly because we didn't really want to get into that system too early, but anyway, one of my children is left-handed, and the teacher tried to persuade the mother of my child to make him write with his right hand. I was actually right-handed, but I had that forcibly taken out of me. That's another story. But anyway, tried to make him use his right hand, and his mother refused and said, no, if that's his natural hand he's going to use it. And imagine if we'd allowed that. Now, I'm not saying that the teacher had bad intentions, but that's just a small example of how the major influence when it comes to something as important as a child begins. And even in the same instance, they decided to separate both my boys, the twins, in different classes. I didn't like the idea of it, I didn't agree with it, because coming from the continent, originally from the continent, it's togetherness, but we went with it anyway. That's another example, just showing you how the influence starts so early. And the mother of my boys said something really key. She said that it wasn't until nursery that she saw how much influence that they have over their parents, over their mothers. And most mothers will assume that whatever information they give you is the right way to go. But we don't realise how much influence they have at such an early age. And then after nursery, we've got primary school. Very much more of the same thing, discipline, quote unquote, following orders, getting a reward for doing as you're told, and remembering things to get rewards, dates and names and all them kind of things. And then not long after that, we've got secondary school, a bit more of the same. And for many, a bit more, not long after that, college. Now, we're not going to get as far as university at this point, but you total up all them hours that our children have been at school. I mean, on average day, you're talking it's almost like a day at work. We're talking 6, 7, 8 hours away from home, back-to-back primary and secondary, and in some cases nursery. Look how many hours are being taken away from our interaction with our children. They come home, they're tired, so they've got a few hours and it's bedtime, and the only time we really get to see them is on weekends. And there's two problems. Not only are we being denied time, which none of us can get back with our children, but the influence. If you want to know, granted, some parents are just, to put it another way, they shouldn't be parents, or they're not ready to be parents, let me put it that way. But for those of us who are trying to raise our children in the best way, think about how the influence coming from an outside source who doesn't have the same best interest as you as a parent becomes first and foremost before you do with your own children over so many years. You see how crucial that is. And couple that with the fact that the average playground now in school, you've got children with all kinds of problems coming from home, from society, and we do know that the level of depression and anxiety in children has gone sky high. So your child is in that environment for that amount of time, and the children and the teachers are not trained with a keen eye to notice certain things that go on in the school playground. And we're giving our children away, so to speak, for that amount of hours that leads to years over the years when they're between nursery and college or even just secondary school. It's not a joke, man. That's why I call it the killing fields, because they're killing the minds of our children with their own form of propaganda and conditioning, if you like. And now I'm not saying in any way that we should be reproducing or raising clones of ourselves, as in regards to our children, because they are their own person. But when it comes to a healthy relationship between mother and father and child, no one is going to sacrifice and want the best for your child as much as you do. That's why I ask the question again, who's raising your children? And is it really us? By the time they become adults, they've learned to not question and just do as they're told, and know that they get a reward for doing as they're told. Who's raising their children? Platinum Bearded Dread. Yeah, man.